Hi, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to Unique Peace. I am Janice. I am your host. And today we're going to be talking with Joseph Diaria. He is a Reiki master teacher, a Feng Shui master, and as well as a psychic medium here on Long Island. And today we're going to discover what brings Joseph peace. Good morning, Joseph.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Great. Welcome.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Yes, I'm excited. I've been excited all week. So, as you know, the premise of the show is about what brings everyday people peace and happiness, and how we can help each other find peace and happiness in every day, in every way, especially amongst the chaos of life. So, tell us a little bit about you and what brings you peace.
As you introduced me as, I'm a psychic medium, and I do a lot of different things actually. But so my day tends to be very full with stuff to do, and so I mean, a quick little thing that just brings me peace. Like I make it a point to try to meditate, and but also exercise. I think like exercise in itself is a meditation
Yes.
and to just ground me because again I deal with a lot of energy throughout the day and a lot of things going on in my head, so that has just been a very big thing in my life.
Great.
It's just I got to get to the gym. It's like, and some people think like, do you really need to go to it? Like, yes I do, because you got to understand it's not just all the things you think it is. It's like I'm grounding myself while I'm doing it, while I'm there.
That it actually, I agree with that because I like to walk outside. Because that is just I find that as it gets colder, it gets harder, and then I have to, either invest in a gym membership or do stuff at home. But that is important because I find it clears my head. How about you? Do you find that that's part of the grounding is
Yes.
clearing your head and preparing for whatever is going to be thrown at you next?
Yes, I always enjoy a good walk, even if it's just around the neighborhood. I find nature, just being around outside in the air, even if it's I'm a kind of I'll walk even if it's 20 degrees outside, maybe not for very long, but I'll walk.
You're such a brave soul. It's 20 degrees outside. I'm like, those kettlebells are looking really good right now.
Like I said, I may not do it for very long if it's 20 degrees, but I'll still do it. I'm motivated enough where I'm getting myself out there anyway. Even if it's raining, I'll do it. And again, it may not be for very long, but I'll do it just to have it done. But nature has this way of cleaning you out, of just taking away, I'll say, the emotions, the feelings, or it allows me to clear my head and process the things that maybe I'm not giving myself the time to think about otherwise. And so when I'm done, I always feel so much better that
Yes.
I had the thoughts that I needed to think about. I cleared out whatever needs to be cleared out. I have maybe more of a direction and I can come back in and okay, then proceed accordingly.
Okay. So, as a fellow energy worker and someone who really has to work in that space, how do you differentiate your chaos versus their chaos? And I say chaos, and because as a human in this experience, we do have some chaos. We're like, we had those moments of being frazzled. So
Oh yes.
how when you're working with a client in any capacity, how do you differentiate yourself from their chaos and your chaos on an energetic level?
First, I need to explain, I didn't used to do that, especially when I was just starting. It was hard to tell the difference, like, what's mine, what's yours, and over time, I guess with experience, it became far more obvious over, "Okay, mine's over here, yours is over there," and I'm just feeling it since I'm just, I guess, the mediator of the energy, and I think now I can tell the difference that this isn't mine, this is theirs, and I can block it, and I like, if it makes sense, I could block it, yet still work in it, and yet not have it
Yeah, it does make
like
sense.
come like a be I'm not absorbing their energy. Because I am similar, very well, just like you, I'm also a Reiki master, so I see clients and I'm in their energy, and it's just like, okay, not that it's a bad thing, but my first thought is like, okay, ground myself and feeling what's theirs. I've learned over time that someone else's energy has a very different feeling or a different signature to it. So working with that, I love that because I was like always dying to talk to somebody else. Like, do you feel the difference when from person?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I also noticed that, like, how did I feel before they walked in? And then that's kind of one of those things like, okay, that's not mine.
Yes,
That's how when I was starting, um, Pat helped me understand, you and I both know, and we're taught by Pat Longo. She helped me
yes, we
understand
are.
it's like, if you were feeling this one way and then this person came in and then you started feeling differently, that's because you're empathic and that's not yours. So you have to like separate that from yours and then find a way to help them come up to where you're at and kind of ease out of whatever it is. And that's what I personally love about Reiki is I can bring that kinetic, stressful energy down and calm, and then they leave much more calm and happier. But that's how I differentiate the energy. For me, that's one of the tactics where I'm like, oh yeah, no, honey, we got it. You need to be on the table, or you need to sit in the chair, and giving them some tools to bring them peace themselves. So what do you find the most peaceful in energy work? What do you find that is when you're doing the work, what brings you the most peace?
With the energy work, even when I'm have a client just sitting down for if it's either Reiki or mediumship and psychic readings, um, or I also do Feng Shui, and it's a slightly different animal, but on a I'll say a similar wavelength. But since when you asked me to do this podcast, I think I made became more conscious of myself in my head about it because it's just like, when we're done and either the look on their face or as you said, the way they feel is so much lighter than when we started. And I feel like that also brings me peace. It's like, all right, I'm raising the vibration or assisting this person in the raising of their vibration through all this work that we're doing. And it makes me feel good, and
Yeah,
it just also makes me feel like, okay, now they're going to go out there and do something with this and whatever they want to do with it. And I'm putting out there the hope that they're inspired to continue the piece for themselves in some shape or form. And it's just like, and I'm like, all right, I can take a seat back and be like, this is really awesome.
yeah, it is awesome.
Because it's
Now,
just like, okay, their life is going to change on some level because they decided to do this and they just had me be a part of it in whatever form we decided to do this in. And I feel like I finding peace in that because I am calm
yeah.
when I'm done with the session, one where and whatever it is I'm doing. And it feels so good to assist somebody in their healing. I did a past life regression this past Friday, and I think the energy, I mean, not that it was heavy in the beginning, but the difference when we were done was so different, and the client was felt like expressed so much joy within themselves of from what they experienced. And it's just like, this is why I do kind of like why I do this. Like that joy at the end is like what is like not that I have to get there, but it's just kind of like, but this just makes me feel good, like feel I mean, yes, feel good within myself. I'm not gonna, not gonna deter from that, but it's just like I'm glad they feel good and I feel good, and this is all just amazing stuff.
So I feel the same way in many of and a lot of what we're saying together. My biggest thing is feng shui with you. I'm not a feng shui master. We have a lot of similarities there. I'm going to say I'm directionally challenged unless the GPS tells me what direction I'm going, or I have a compass that says north is that way. Otherwise, I am directionally challenged. So, with feng shui, in the direction of the energy and the flow of a home and bringing peace in, how does that work?
It works with a quick explanation of it is using the environment as a means to direct the energy coming in. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not going to give you a lesson per se, but that's my perception is we're directing the energy as it does its own thing. We're kind of guiding it to also accomplish certain things for us. So but the intention is if we're inviting peace in, tranquility and serenity, then it's going to come. Then we're also setting ourselves up so it comes and stays.
Okay.
So that energy is always streaming in and being utilized in any way, shape, or form by visual cues, the way we have things arranged, and because it's taking our inner, the environment of our homes or offices or whatever, and just allowing the energy to play. And I'll say collect and do what we ask it to do before it decides to leave and go do something else. And
Okay.
so that is, and as I was speaking to you earlier about that, I do architecture also during the day. Is I feel very in tune with that, saying, okay, this is how we're calling this. When I'm looking at a plan, I'm like, this is how we're
Got it.
calling the energy in. This is where it's going. This is where it's collecting. This is where we need to do it. We need to do things this way because it's going to be the best feeling for the person intended. So that's, I'll say, it's exciting for me because I'm all into the details about how all this works.
That's awesome. I kind of feel that way when I do a spatial clearing. When I come into somebody's home and do a top to bottom clearing of the space and moving of that energy, because then the house feels lighter and it also feels more peaceful because you've helped people get rid of n- stale energy, possibly
Lower
negative
vibration.
energy, low vibration. So I can see where feng shui and spatial clearings can work hand in hand, definitely.
I
Um,
love doing spatial clearings for that reason as well. It's like it's just to leave the space, and I hear it later from some of my clients give me the feedback where they said they feel it's different. I'm like, okay, you're not a medium, you're not a psychic, but and you feel it's different. Then you know
yeah.
that something great has going on here.
So, and bringing it back in, and what brings you peace, it's the meditation and the exercise and just feeling that grounding. What would you recommend to people when it comes to meditating? Because I use meditation. Again, I use a bunch of different things depending on what I feel I need or where I'm at. The environment also will dictate. It's like, okay, do I need to go to my car and just breathe for a minute? Can I go for a walk? And what tools can I use to bring me peace? Meditation, I have found a lot of people saying, I can't meditate. And I disagree with that. I think that okay, we're not all monks on mountains. So I find that a lot of my clients, if I give them a guided meditation or a visualization, that it works. But time-wise, what would you say what's the average time you feel you meditate? Because I can personally go from 5 minutes and feel fine, or say, okay, I have to sit here for a half an hour, or I just have to sit here till I feel I can tackle whatever's coming next.
It used to be like at least 10 minutes a day for me. I think I've transitioned to I think maybe it's only a few minutes because I'll park my butt on the couch or on a chair and just or lay on the bed and just be like, okay, let's do this. And I change however or evolve however I'm feeling. And I think it's only a few minutes now sometimes, and not all the time. Sometimes I do need to sit down for like a half an hour and, chill out. But my suggestion to anybody is like to quiet your mind is one kind of meditation. I feel like you don't have to quiet your mind. If you're going to sit there and think about chores or think about a problem, that's still the meditation. You're just addressing something in your mind that you're not giving yourself space and time to do otherwise. So in the meditation, you find answers or at least create a
Yes.
solution or at least get yourself on the way to a solution. But by giving you a space to think about whatever it is you're thinking about. So that is still a meditation.
I agree with that. I love that you bring that up because I tell that to my clients all the time. I love that. And Laurie, she says, I love how you both use your gifts and bring energy and peace to yourself and others. And we appreciate that, Laurie. We
Yes, we
love
appreciate it, Lori.
um so also and then with the exercise, I'm on again, off again with that, but over the past few years, I've definitely been more consistent. Do you find which is quicker when bringing you peace and clearing your mind, which is quicker?
You mean like quick like exercise or meditation?
Yeah.
Meditation, I think, is quicker. Exercise, but it's in a different way. It's like as like I go to a gym, I'm driving to the gym and I'm like, all right, and like I'm in work mode And once I'm in it, it's like, all right, I'm feeling good. Like I got my heart going and I feel it and I feel like I feel amazing. Let's keep this going. But I'll say it's more work to go to the gym and do all that stuff, but it's just something I'm not giving up anytime soon. But I think meditation is quicker. It's to just I'll sit down and just like try to get into my own head
Okay.
for me.
So, and what would you say is something that you would share with others about bringing peace to themselves? How do you bring peace? This is one of my favorite questions. How do you bring peace
Bring peace to myself,
to others? How do you
to
bring
others.
peace?
A lot of let's see, that's I guess a full answer. A lot of people want messages through me. Like sometimes family members, sometimes very rarely, honestly, friends. But a lot of people will come up. It's like, well, what do you hear? What do you know? What you got? And it's just like, but, and I do ask my guides like, is this gonna help right now? And if my guide says yes, then I'll present them with whatever I feel is going on. But to give people a message, I feel even if it's just a quick, tiny little thing, is so it's not satisfying is not the word. It's I feel because I feel like the exchange it become like what that does for the person receiving it, and that just feels amazing. Not that I want to be stopped all the time, everywhere I go. It's like, no,
No, no, no.
tell me something. Like it's like no, don't do that. But
Okay.
to give people something. Whether I mean, I also compliment a lot because when I meet somebody, I'll try to find something to give them today because maybe my point of view is maybe they need it. Maybe they just need a boost. Maybe they're having a great day and I'm just contributing another piece of that. Or maybe they're not having a good day and it's just nice to hear from even a stranger just something good, like something good from my heart to theirs.
Okay. And some of any advice that you would give people regarding how to bring peace into their own lives, not through messages. I mean, you're just going about your business and you're having a stressful moment. If they were to come to you, what would you say to them? I'm not using spirit, not using
Mhm.
messages, just Joseph, I'm really stressed out right now. What would you tell me?
Probably I would tell them don't take it all personally.
Okay.
I find people absorb what's going on with others so very much and bring it into their experiences, and it's often not about them, especially when it's something more often when it's something negative going on. It's they're interpreting it as if, oh my god, what did I do? And most likely it's almost never something they've actually done. It's just jumping off of someone else's chaos.
Yeah. So,
And not that like I say, oh yes, if you've got chaos going on, like yes, maybe like express it. I mean, maybe don't create a storm about it, but that's what I would tell everybody is please is try not to take things so personally.
okay.
Um, in this instance, because somebody else in their lives very often is just having something going on, but everyone feels like it's because they've done something, and it's like no, it's really not you. It looks like it, but it's really not. And just because on a personal level, I've realized that a lot as well. It's like just because this is going on over here doesn't mean I'm attached to it.
Okay.
I mean, maybe I'm participating it because it's in front of me. That's why we interpret it as, oh my God, I've done something. But I've learned so like over all these years that it's not about me and something I've done. I'm just witnessing what's going on in front of me, and maybe it's someone lashes out at me, but it's still not about me. It's them working something out. I just happen to be there.
I've had multiple experiences on that level as well. And the big part of separating and not taking it personally is important. People find that very difficult, though.
Yes,
And you and I have tools. So if you had to pull out, okay, you tell them don't take it personally. How do I do that? How do I do that? How do I do that? What would you pull out of your toolbox to help them
my
not take
toolbox
it
is
personally?
often the step back in my mind and just to say, okay, why could they be doing this? And it's let's just say maybe something's going on in their personal lives that I know nothing about and I don't need to know anything about. So this maybe backlash is because they're really angry. There's a reason for this somewhere in here. And even just saying that, there's a reason for this somewhere in here. And I'm also experiencing this for a reason. And I may not understand the reason, but it's just to say this is supposed to happen. They need to let this out. I need to just be here, maybe just because I'm being the calm person, or whoever we're speaking to. Maybe you just need to be the calm in the storm for that person in front of you. So just be comfortable with, okay, I'll be the calm in the storm in their storm today, and they're doing something's going on in here that I don't need to know or figure out. I'm just here to be the rock for them in this moment.
Okay. So, um,
But
very
also
good.
for themselves on a personal level, when stuff's going on for them they don't quite understand, I also suggest just a little step back in your mind, and also just to say, but maybe there's something in here that I'm not catching on to, that there's a reason for it. It's, I'll say, an unpleasant experience, but there's something in here that I need to learn. And that step back is always, okay, now I can start focus on, well, where's my lesson into what, not so much why is it happening. It's like, okay, I'm learning something here. I'm growing from something in here, and it may sound silly, but that's probably
Oh,
what the energy line, the energy story going on is. You have a lesson in this somewhere, and if it's happening to you, then we can probably get out of it. But we just need to get the lesson, then we can move on from here. And I feel like that's, generally speaking, that's for every experience we've got going on. There's a lesson in here for us somewhere in here.
yes. Personally, I would tell them it's like I would agree with you on everything you said, because it's very hard to not take things personally when it feels like it's coming at you and being directed towards you. But sometimes I would just say, if they can, go out and take a walk. Spend a
Yes.
couple 5 minutes in the sunshine, just walking. Don't think about it. If you're feeling angry, and if they're angry, and you're feeling like you've absorbed that, go take a walk for 5 minutes. Go sit in your car for 5 minutes. Um, so that's kind of like what I would pull out of my toolbox, is letting them know it's like, okay, it's time to take a step back, because that's when you're going to get answers too.
Yes, I wanted to say that too, because I found personally, like, when I take the step back and stop asking the whys, and just start working through the thoughts, I'll say solutions start coming, because I'm not all about like, why is this happening to me? How, what did I do? And like, oh God, why? Like, the why question, and which also I understand is very hard. How do you bring yourself out of that? That's why it takes practice to be in that mindset. But I also want to project to everybody, but anything coming to you is also, I believe, you're in control of it. Once you recognize what it is, you can do something about it now.
Okay. And so, how would you direct somebody who's like, again, people who aren't necessarily familiar with, okay, I've learned that I'm not taking it personally. How can I help the situation?
First, I'll say it's not. I'll say it. The answer is partially not just not only remaining calm, but it's just recognizing now, like, we don't need solutions always right away. It's just maybe take this in, stew with it for a moment, and then I'll say it's the work to choose to feel better. I feel no matter what. It's like I tell myself also, it's like I give myself like 5, 10 minutes to get over something. It's like I got 10 minutes to feel my way through this, and then I gotta move on, because otherwise now, other things will be going on that I don't want to happen. So my first suggestion is, like, feel what you go to feel. In
Okay.
order to get yourself out of it, you got to feel it. Don't hold it back. Feel the anger, feel the I guess the pain, feel the sadness, experience all of that, and just work it out maybe as soon as you can. Like I said, like, maybe it takes me 10 minutes to get over something. Not everything, really, not everything. I'm speaking generally, but I that's a suggestion. Just feel what you go to feel, because if you hold that back, it's just going to keep coming back to you stronger the next time, because it's that energy is just trying to get out. It's like, let's just have this emotion. So allow yourself to have the emotion.
I'm a fan of scream therapy in the car on the way home from a stressful day. Just throwing that out there to any of the viewers. It's like, if you had a really stressful day at work, you can scream in the car. In this day and age, they don't, people don't know what's going on. Just keep your windows up and get it out.
I've
That's
never screamed in the car, so that's interesting. to go do that. I think I might be too embarrassed. I might go drive like very far away, and like very far away, maybe like in a parking lot at like Jones Beach or something, and be like, okay, now I'll scream because no one's here in the car.
Whatever you gotta
I'll
do.
scream in the middle of nowhere in the car to ensure nobody hears the scream.
So say you're bringing it back and you're working on an office building or a home in your everyday career, in addition to what we do. So you're working with a challenging client. You know that they're stressed out for whatever reason. It might be, we have the holidays. My kitchen needs to be done in 3 weeks. What's going on? And there, you feel that energy. What would you do to bring calm and peace to that kind of situation? And kind of, people, we do that subtly and people don't know we're doing it. So what are some of the fun things that you do to try and, de-escalate the situation, raise the vibration in that moment?
We'll say very often when they want it done in 3 weeks, and it's just simply not possible because all the other things just can't align up. I do try to remind them of what has gone right and what is complete. So to help them understand, I mean, to understand like this is a process, but if it's not going to go the way you want it, but it's going to be absolutely gorgeous when it is done. And let's say in creating something that they've either they've envisioned in their heads or I've envisioned in my heads, like we're still arriving at the final destination no matter what, because it's just full steam ahead. Whether the schedule is often, believe me, in construction, like very few things ever arrive or come on or are finished on time. It's just how it always is.
It is.
And I
It,
mean, you also make a point to say that right up front. It's like I love how you have a time frame in your mind. Now add 6 months.
I used to work in advertising, and I would ask my creative team, when can this be done by? And then I would ask the client, when do they need it? And I would always tack on at least a week to the client's deadline and then give it to the creative team and see if we can make it happen. So yes, I understand that that form. So, but like you're upfront and honest, but like do you do anything like I know that for me, like when I'm in a stressful situation at work and I have to remind my own self, don't take it personally because it's like I'm in a new environment during my day job. And it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, I can't take it personally, but I will kind of like give them tips. It's like, okay, let's just breathe. It's going to get done. Don't worry. It's not the end of the world. Do you use any tactics like that to help your clients like calm down and find a moment to just like, okay, we'll get through this. It won't necessarily be when I need it, but it'll be perfect when it's done.
I did have a time where I literally held somebody's hand and to tell them that it was going to be all right. That we are moving forward, and I'm doing everything to press on as much as we can. And I do tell them like you don't have to worry about this. Like that's my job to worry. So because they'll say it's my project. Yes, it's your house, but it's my project, and I know who to speak to. I know who to speak to. I know who to be firm with, and I know what we have to order now to fix what we can't get for this. So I think like that's just what comes to mind is like that literal like I will handle this. You go like sip some coffee and sip some coffee, sit in that chair and breathe.
Breathe, just breathe. That's a favorite statement nowadays. I
Yeah.
say it a lot. So, what do you find to be the most rewarding out of everything you do to bring peace and happiness and joy to people? What is the most rewarding out of those experiences?
I feel the messages that sometimes come in because a lot everybody's life situations are so different. So every message is not every well, so many messages are not exactly the same. Maybe the same theme, but not exactly the same. But just seeing what it means to somebody and what that and how even just saying a few words changes their whole, and from my perspective, their whole energy field. And it's just like, wow, that to me that has always been amazing to see like their aura change, colors change in pattern, as they receive something. And it's just like, that's all it needed. Spirit needed to say something to them, and they did it. And it just, and it creates such beautiful, beautiful effects in our, in our world. I find that to be, I guess the rewarding part is like I get to participate in this cosmic transfer of energy, and this, I guess, cosmic upliftment of everybody and how they feel.
Okay. Okay. So, if someone were to come up to you today and say, "I'm having a rough day. I've meditated, I've exercised, I've taken a breath. What else can you give me?" Is there anything anything else? Because I mean, those are the standard answers. What's a way that you could think of to help people that is might be unusual? Is there
Might be
anything
unusual.
that we come up with some crazy ideas that you were like, "Where'd that come from?" And then they'll tell you, "Hey, that worked."
They're just having a bad day. I mean, on my level, I would just immediately like read their aura, like what's going on, and ask my guides like what could they need today, and just give them, whether it's a message or an observation, and be like, or very often I'll tell them, let's go for a walk for a few minutes. Walk with me, talk with me, and we'll just explore like something else. Maybe not what they're feeling bad about, but we'll do that today.
Okay.
I've done that. I've told people like, here, walk with me for a little bit, and just give them something.
Okay. And so when you talk to spirit, some of the things that come through for you, what would you find to be the most unusual that could pertain to being peaceful and calm, just from your universal spirit team?
Sometimes when spirit tells me,
Did you freeze?
like people, not I guess not hobbies, but to access their like their interests in order to, I feel, accessing their inner self. And it's telling people like, to do something like, I guess, something relatively unusual or something they've never done before in their lives, but spirit knows they've been thinking about it all their lives. Because I've had clients where they're like, well, it's been on my mind, but I don't do it, and I've never done it before. And that's like, well, spirit's just reiterating, you should do this. You should like go for it. I remember like I've told somebody like, you need to travel to California, and they're just like, what do you mean? Just get up and just go to California? And it's like, yes, just go to California. And it's just like, why? And they would ask me why, and I said, well, don't you want to go? And they said, yes, I've wanted to go for years. And it's like, so why haven't? I mean, the question becomes, why haven't you? But spirit is just egging them on, like, to go do something that is so uncomfortable. But to do that, it's something, I guess, my interpretation would be that it's been a dream of theirs just to either visit or maybe live there, and why haven't they given it to themselves? And it's so out of their comfort zone. But I think like finally getting validation from spirit is, enough to be like, well, something I've wanted like is possible, is accessible to me, and maybe I could just go ahead and do it. Whether they did it or not, I don't know. But I've expressed that to them, and I'll say it's just bizarre because it's knocking people out of their comfort zones,
Yeah,
and like in the possibilities of what they can do in their life.
right. And comfort zones are comfortable for a reason.
Yes,
But I've also learned that comfort zones can be uncomfortable places to live. So
because you hold
that,
yourself, in because it's comfortable. You hold yourself in place. You don't do the things that you truly desire to do, because whether it's just simply the comfort, it's the fear of the unknown, it's the fear of what if it's not gonna go over well, the thing I want. And but you're familiar with what's going on now, so people will keep themselves there.
yeah, that was for me personally a very difficult lesson, because comfort zones aren't familiar. You know what to expect, and that's why you stay. So you could stay in a dangerous situation. You can stay in an abusive marriage. You can stay in a dangerous, toxic environment because you know how to react to that.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that's what you're supposed to be doing. So that was a very difficult personal lesson. So coming out of your comfort zone is very important, and it's scary. It's terrifying. It's just terrifying. So to tell people and validate that, hey, yeah, you need to do this. People will look at you funny, but if they do it, they'll find out, oh, wait, this is awesome. So that's very cool.
I
So
do feel, on a side note, that you and I are going to be taken out of our comfort zones a little bit, in the
I
soon
feel it.
time to come,
I
because
feel it.
I'm feeling it too, and I'm looking at you like she's going to do it too. Like, cool, then we're on the same page.
We're going to take that leap and see how big the wings are.
Yes.
I'm not on the cliff alone. Hallelujah.
No, you're not on the cliff alone. I'm there with you. Let's just sprout some wings.
That's hard. You know that.
Yes.
So, so at least I know you're, I think a lot of us are feeling it, and we just, it's the anticipatory, it's that anticipation that brings it to like, okay, oh God. It's like I find myself trying to find some peace and comfort too. And it's like I've actually used my guess techniques because it's like I'm relying on meditation, I'm relying on exercise, I channel a lot of meditations for other people. And it's like sometimes I look at it and reading, like, oh, I need this too. So,
Because
it's
you
like
got to remember
awesome.
you. You're just as important.
So yeah, whatever is coming, I feel that it's big. I feel it's big. I just don't know what it means or when. And I think that the part that I'm feeling the most is the when. It's like, when is this happening? And that's causing
I
my
feel,
body the most
I mean,
anxiety.
honestly, because you're in front of me, I feel like the inspiration is going to be coming before in maybe a month or two. It's just going to
Okay.
be in your head. All right, how do I make that work? And spirit will just work with you. I feel like it's expansion, so like I guess a little more technology involved, a little more of you being put out there.
Yeah, as someone who hates to be the center of attention, this will be awesome.
But that's simply out of getting you out of that comfort zone of I'll say you got to be cool with this on some level.
I
Doesn't have
am
to be
this,
perfect.
yeah, this is the start of that. I will say that. This is the start of that. And like I'm also glad that you're on this journey with me because you might be getting texts from me. Help.
Go for it. Go for it. You
Go
can
for
text me.
it. So, uh, what else are you feeling that we can all, take as a universal, hey, everything's going to be okay. Just try and deal with it in the best way possible. But what's a universal theme that we can bring to people for peace? Like, for me, it's like, I know everything's gonna be all right. It's terrifying right now, but it's like graduating from high school or college.
Oh yes.
That's really what it is. I feel like it's a graduation.
That's a really good analogy about that. It's yes, because to remember how awesome it was to actually graduate, but be terrified at the same time of what's coming, what you're coming to, not that shortly after. That's a great, that's a great, great explanation of that.
That's really where I'm at. I'm like, I'm taking my finals, and pomp and circumstance is gonna be playing. Do I get a diploma or a degree? So,
But the
um,
world, let's see, but the world out there is changing as it always is, and it's always just trying to figure out like where's the nice balance from in some shape or form. But to express to everyone out there that your intentions are what's creating what's like the overall theme of what's going on in front of you. So as long as you hold on to the good intentions, then I'll say then positive things are coming in there somewhere. And when something not so positive, it's because we just need to work something out in order to get to the positive part. So I guess something for everyone to do is just try to find the even the tiniest bit of positivity, because that's what's creating more for you. Because I would love to express that yes, the world is changing, the world can be scary, and it's always going to be that way, but not just because scary things are happening, it's just because you take 10 steps away from you is beyond our comfort zones, and therefore it's uncomfortable. So I'll say that's always going to be a running theme. But I also, I guess, from my perspective, the world's not that scary.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would tell people, keep the positive intentions going, keep the positive spin, because that's what's creating it for us. Because it is getting better from my perspective as well. And talking to spirit, it is getting better out there.
Okay. Because it's hard to see. It's
Yes,
hard to see that because you're only seeing like this. Are you sure? Are you sure?
yes.
And you have to open up a little bit to say, okay, I see this. I don't watch the news. And I
I
found
really
that,
don't either. Very rarely do I pop in and see something, because I mean, for various reasons. But it's just because I just feel like it's just not necessary anymore.
I agree. I mean, it depends, they'll spin it the way they want to spin it, and they usually spin it with fear.
Yes.
And I don't have time for that. I have time for the weather and traffic. That's what I have time for. And now we have phones for that. They tell you. It's like there's an accident on the LIE. Turn this way. It's like, okay, awesome. I'll turn that way. Detour. Um,
I mean, I also want to express to everybody that certain things happen for certain reasons, that it's the reasons are ultimately still getting us to the place where we want to be. So even when there's some hardship, it's still bringing someone to a good place mentally, emotionally, and someone else is, going in a slightly different direction, but still a positivity. We're also going where we ultimately would like to go. And I hope people take comfort in that. We're still moving in a good direction. And no matter what's going on in front of you, it's just, I guess people just need to take this step back and just say and just tell themselves, like, we're still moving, and where we intended to go with all of this.
that's awesome. That's a good way of looking at it. It's an awesome way of looking at it. So, thank you so much, Joseph, for coming on and talking about peace with us today. Very grateful for that.
Oh, I'm grateful that you wanted me to come on. This is a different experience for me, and I enjoyed it.
Awesome. And if people want to find you and talk to you about feng shui, about spirit and energy work, or anything like that, where would they find you?
They can find me on Facebook. I have a psychic medium page. I have a different page for feng shui. It's Dairo Feng Shui, or on Instagram it's Dairo Feng Shui Spaces, or it's Joseph underscore the medium on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing on TikTok. It's like I've given some things a try because I really don't know like what to do with myself. So everyone bear with me on TikTok, because I'm like, what do I do? I don't like. I guess I'm uncomfortable right now.
See?
But I'm trying it because it's just like I gotta get out of here. I gotta do something. So I'm giving it a shot.
I have a 15-year-old for that if you ever want to learn. I'm
Okay, great.
because I have no idea. I have actually I don't touch that. I'm like, nope. But
That, or people are welcome to email me, text me, or like however they want to receive. But Facebook, Instagram is absolutely wonderful. So contact me there.
okay, wonderful. And I want to say have a great day to everyone. Have a peaceful day. And we will talk to Joseph again in the future, I'm sure.
Oh,
And,
thanks.
and we'll just have a great day
All right. Thank you.
and have a peaceful day.
And